This is a huge, huge announcement for Uber, because this announcement means that they are acknowledging that the treatment of drivers is poor. In fact, it's not only poor, it's pathetic. So they hire this prominent critique to focus on the treatment of drivers. And I want us all to welcome Alex Rosenblatt, who's now an employee at Uber dealing with this issue, right? I don't think there is or find me a bigger critique of Uber and Lyft than the rideshare professor. And it's not supposed to come across negative, not at all. The ideas that we put forward, the alarm bells that we keep ringing, feed after feed, year after year, no one was listening. No one was listening, right? That's the biggest problem there. There's only one group of people, and I want you to really, really listen to this conversation, Alex Rosenblatt, because you're the type of person who would be welcomed on this show so that we can download you, right? She has her book that she wrote. I'm going to plug it, Uberland, How Algorithms Are Rewriting the Rules of Work. She's interviewed a lot of drivers, right? And she's heard their stories. And based on those stories, that feedback, that listening, right? Her ability to listen, to interview drivers, she captures that in this book. Probably a book well worth buying, right? Now, because she has the ability to listen, to interview, to get feedback from drivers, suddenly Uber says, hang on, we have this massive issue, right? Drivers are leaving. We cannot get drivers back. Ridership is down 50%. We are being slammed in the media. We are being killed in the media. We are being portrayed as Dr. Evil, Darth Vader in the media. We are getting hit, slapped, punched, left, right, and center. What is wrong? I'll tell you what is wrong. They never, ever had the ability to listen. To listen, right? Now, you have a woman here, young lady, I'm going to call her, who I hope goes into these live chat rooms of various YouTubers, looks at the video, looks at the material, and sees and studies and takes notes on how drivers are reacting to Uber. I don't know if you Miss or Mrs. Alex Rosenblatt, so let's call you Miss Rosenblatt. Miss Rosenblatt, drivers have lost the respect for Uber precisely over that one word, the treatment, because there was never any form of treatment. It was just silence, complete silence. Investor would call, hey, Mr. Masayoshi-san from Japan, investor, yes, 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 mwah, 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 kiss ass, mwah, mwah, right? Saudi prince calls in, right? Investor from Saudi Arabia, yes, sir, yes, absolutely, everything you say. Drivers, Dara, too arrogant. Uber executives, too arrogant. We don't talk to those people. You don't talk to the people that bring you in the wheelbarrows of money each day, right? You don't supply those individuals with the PPE during the pandemic time, right? No, you don't even pay the pandemic or the hazardous pay, right? What you do is you chop, chop, chop. And one of the biggest issues when I say treatment of drivers, you want to start treating drivers well, and her job is going to be so tough. Mr. Koshashawi, I need 15 minutes of your time. Here are the 10 top points how we need to start treating drivers better. We need to listen. We need to study. We need to see where we have lost their respect and how we get their respect back, right? You got to tap into street level, Alex. You're welcome on the show. I, for one, right, a lot of people have their upsets, their angers, their frustrations, right? Just now, Lyft cut the rates again. Those are real feelings that people have, right? When they're like, F Uber, I'm leaving, I'm going here, I'm going to go to Amazon Flex. They don't listen. They treat us like dog, S-H-I-T, right? She has such a difficult job. And my personal story, I can just, and I hope, because she's interviewed so many people, I hope she can relate to this, because she does sound like a listener. That's why they hired her, right? She was able to interview hundreds and hundreds of drivers and listen to them, right? And put it in a book. And then they thought, oh my God, we have a big issue, right? We are definitely not treating our drivers right. So probably multiple people came to these executives and said, listen, we're losing drivers left, right, and center. What is going on? Oh, wow, we may have to look at that. No, they've been ignoring that from day one. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. It doesn't exist. No, that we don't worry about the treatment of drivers. Don't worry. No, that topic. Don't talk to me about that. Well, now the conversation is here. I welcome IQ Boy. I welcome Ed Vest. I welcome Yego. I welcome Dan. I welcome George. Everyone to this feed. And this is a golden opportunity for you guys, even for people that come into this room, to leave feedback for Alex Rosenblatt, because I truly think this is the bridge. She is the chosen one between us frustrated, angry, pissed off drivers, right? Underpaid, mistreated during the pandemic. She is the bridge between us and those $45 million dudes. Dan. You see, Alex? You see this, Alex Rosenblatt? Dan slapped down $50 because he knows what it means, right? And I appreciate the way I see it, Dan, is that you are giving me this donation, this reward for fighting together, for standing up, like true warriors. Like if Alex wanted to interview a true warrior, a person that is compassionate and understands, come to me, go to Dan, right? Speak to these people and get real feedback. And then take that feedback. Take my feedback. Take Dan's feedback, Robert's feedback, IQ Boy's feedback, and walk it into that office and say, Dara, John Zimmer, Logan Green. She doesn't obviously work for them. But Dara, I need to speak to you. I have a lot of information here. I think I have some great solutions. And then it's up to those executives to listen and implement, listen and implement, listen and implement, listen and implement, listen and implement Alex Rosenblatt's plan, right? Because she has to present a plan to them. We have a problem, and now we are going to solve that problem, that mistreatment, with a plan. This is a lady I do not want to antagonize. This is a lady that I do not want to brawl with, because I see her as a bridge. I see her as a position that I've been fighting for years and years and years for drivers, right? And sure, they're not going to hire me, the numero uno, nummer eins, numero un critique guy, right? Because I think critique is good. You got to praise. You got to be able to praise someone, but you also have to be able to critique someone. So if you want a lot of valuable feedback, Alex Rosenblatt, you come onto my show, right? You have the courage to face the real people, something that John Zimmer and Dara Khosrowshahi could never do. More the extroverted types. They just freeze. We don't want to deal with these people. They know how much anger and upset there is, because they know how they have treated drivers over the years. They've treated them like CRAP, and they're wondering, why are these people leaving my company? Why are the people exiting in droves? Why are they not coming back now that the pandemic numbers are slowly going down? and they see this massive, massive, massive glacier, right? They're like the Titanic heading towards the glacier, and they say to Alex, we do not want to hit this iceberg. We do not want to plow our vehicle into the mountain. Help us, Alex. So work with us, Alex, right? Work with us, right? It cannot just be a show hire. It's a good one, George Economist. I like the fact that he used that word, show hire. You cannot just be a show hire. You have to be a doer. You have to be a reacher outer, right? You have to pick up those phone lines. Talk to the Dustin is driving of the world. Talk to the Harry Campbells. Talk to the Revolutions. Talk to the Kevin Entrepreneurs. Talk to the Dave Uber Slaves. Talk to the Torsten Kunert rideshare professors. Talk to the Dan Dans of the world. Talk to the Alex Critiques of the world. Talk to the hustle guys of the world. Talk to the rideshare tricksters of the world. Talk to all those wonderful ladies that started their own channel. You know, talk to them. Listen to them. Listen to them. Listen to them. And listen to them. So I have a recording, a 4-minute recording from a Philadelphia driver. And he was surprised when I wrote back. And he said, oh my God, you listened to my conversation. I said, yes, buddy, I did. I took out 4 minutes. I listened to your conversation, and then I contacted him back. That's her job. It's her job to listen to us. And I'm going to use this opportunity briefly because you guys all have your stories. You have your upset and anger. Many of you have moved on for different reasons. Many of you are just sick and tired and said, you know what, I have had it. You have pushed me to the brim. You have pushed me to the limit. I'm stopping, right? Many of you have walked out making a big loss because you may be committed to a car, but you have to make this car now work. So you're doing Amazon Flex, or you're doing whatever it takes, or you're doing food deliveries, right? But many people are not going back to rideshare. So they bring in this lady, right? She looks young. She looks like she's in her 30s. I will never, I don't know her. I'm not going to judge her. I'm not going to underestimate her knowledge about Uber. You know, she could be a psychologist. I don't know what her background is. She's getting a free plug on her book here, but she's also getting an invite to come onto the show, right? So my email, my phone number will be there, Alex. Just be courageous enough to come and mix it up with real people like Jimmy, Ultra Testosterone, Akira, Diego, George, the boys and girls, the guys and ladies, the men and women that hang out in these rooms and will give you the most valuable feedback ever on how to treat drivers. This is her title, Uber Hires Prominent Critic to Focus on Treatment of Drivers. To focus on treatment of drivers. First step, acknowledging I have a problem. I am an addict. I am a gambling addict. I am a sex addict. I am a smoking addict. I am a gambling addict, whatever, right? First step in the right direction. I have an issue. I need to confront the issue. Congratulations, Uber. Congratulations, Dara. You finally realized you have an issue. And again, I hope she's not a show hire or like a show racehorse that you put out there to get another press release. I hope the lady goes to work. And I hope the lady marches in those ideas and solutions and suggestions into your office. And I hope you implement them, starting with number one, right? You have to start paying your people better. You start paying your people better, they will come back. They will do more for you. They will stay with you. They will not leave you. You are spending so much money recruiting, spending so many marketing dollars, you can't even keep up, right? And that is why you have to cut rates or cut hour rates to still show the profits for the investors, to still pay your supersonic salaries. Alex, Tell Dara Khosrowshahi to cut $10 million of his salary and put it towards this thing, right? Put that money, or make the bold suggestion that they each need to cut 5-10 millions off their salaries, because there's such a big discrepancy between the people who are making the money and these guys who are not running the show correctly, because obviously they've never shown us a profit, right? All they care about is stock price. Guess what? It's fine and dandy caring about the stock price and your investors and your investors and the stock price and the stock price and your investors. But these guys, the real people that are doing the work, right? Myself, these people, we're leaving. And you have finally, frickin' hooray, I could pop a bottle of champagne. You have acknowledged the fact that drivers need to be treated better. We welcome you on board, Alex Rosenblatt. Akira, love you. Thank you. I appreciate you, and Dan. Thank you so much. So, Alex, now that I'm talking to you respectfully, because I have zero respect for your CEO, doesn't deserve, but maybe you deserve my respect, right? I would highly suggest you schedule times with all these YouTubers on social media and start steering the Titanic past, right? See that big iceberg there? And here comes the Titanic. Well, Alex Rosenblatt just came on board and she's steering it away. Fantastic. So Alex, you can address my issue right here, which is an issue of many, many people, the people that helped build this company, who referred thousands and thousands and thousands of drivers to the company, who helped build the company. Go and speak to your CEO what he did to these people in 2019. He deactivated their accounts and he did not pay them the money that they were owed. It's like hiring a construction company. They finish the house, they do the landscaping. You pay them for the landscaping. You didn't pay them for building the house. And you're wondering why this construction company is pissed off and suing you and suing you and suing you. Alex, there are many people that are bringing little small claims court cases and joining lawsuits, and there's people like me recruiting thousands and thousands of drivers, costing your company millions and millions and millions of dollars because of the mistreatment of drivers. False reports, false deactivations, wrongful terminations. Look into it, right? Stop treating the riders like the guards because they have the Visa, the MasterCard, the Discover, and the American Express. Big mistake is putting all your focus on the riders. Oh, the rider's always right. The rider's always right. No, you have to come up with a system that you need to implement, that you look at the issue. A coin has two sides. The rider made a report. The driver is offering a report. The rider says he was under the influence of alcohol and driving erratically. The driver says absolutely not. It was their excuse not to pay and to take revenge on me, right? Where's that alcohol test? Where's the police report? You have to put a system in place that does not quickly deactivate or wrongfully terminate a driver just because your riders are the holy of holy beings. No, they're not, right? So Alex, figure out a way to deal with deactivations, wrongful terminations, build back respect, right? Listen to drivers, pay drivers, make sure your company takes $5 million from all of these executives and puts it towards PPE, hand sanitizers. You literally have to bend over backwards to win their respect back. You have done so much damage, so much damage. That's why people like I and many other drivers have sued Uber for millions and millions of dollars. And I will not stop until I get every single penny that I personally deserve, because I brought them these drivers and I expect to be rewarded for it. I don't expect to get the silent treatment or 2 middle fingers from Dara Khosrowshahi or from Randall Heimovicki or from arrogant attorneys, right? We don't like that. We are people on the street. We are brawlers. We will bring the fight through your door. You underestimate us. And because you have underestimated us and you have mistreated these drivers, Alex, this is why this company went south. And they've been repairing, trying to do damage control, damage control, damage control. Another big one. Come up with a new culture within Uber, right? Not the one of the arrogance, we'll break the walls down, face the lawsuits later. You have to find a way to put out fires before they start, right? Uber is known for lighting so much fires, for burning down so many trees, so much territory, and then come all those lawsuits 6 months, 12 months later. So, wow, that is a tough job. That is the toughest job, I would say right now, is right on her shoulders, right? Because this is the biggest problem, right? The reason why they cannot get those numbers healthy is because they have literally burnt all those bridges. They've burnt all those bridges. They never allowed drivers to sit on the board, to be part of the decision making, to be part of the input, to be listened to be invited into brainstorming sessions, think tanks, ideas, nothing of that nature. You had a couple of arrogant Harvard, Berkeley, Yale educated individuals that had positions here and there, and they smacked on all these titles, and then they're running a rideshare company with zero knowledge how to treat people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Uber and Lyft are not made up by 30 executives. No, it's made up by millions and millions of hard-working gig workers getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, driving through till 12 o'clock at night. Things that they could never, ever do and understand because they are not on the street, right? So ignore them. No, don't listen to them. In fact, if we do a video, we shut off the comments because we know if we open up the comments on a social media stream, they will pound us with jackhammers. They will throw chisels at us. They will come after us with daggers, right? So we shut off the comments. So we don't want to talk to those people. Sweetheart, you're going to have to talk to those people. You're going to have to talk to these people. You're going to have to talk to me. You don't have to talk to me, but I think I can be a player on your team, just as many other great YouTubers or Facebook channels. There's amazing Facebook channels out there. People have 20, 30,000 followers on their Facebook channels. Find out who are the key people, right? And then come up with your top 10 list. I can tell you that right up on the top of that list, I will guarantee you it's earnings. Not shopping, new rates, new Lyft rates. Well, guess what? They're not going up, they're going down, right? Oh, rates in the pandemic going down, not going up, right? So why not treat the drivers, Alex Rosenblatt, a little bit better during a pandemic? And when the pandemic is over, maybe you can adjust your rates a bit, but you win respect by saying, we understand you're essential, you've been essential to us, and we're going to reward you during this time until the pandemic is over. And after the pandemic is over, maybe 1 or 2 years, we can adjust rates a bit. But right now, you have to show these people they are essential. Mark Cuban said, companies will be remembered by the way they treated their employees or their staff during the pandemic, right? Make a note of that, Alex. Write that down. They will be remembered by the way they treated their staff, workers, drivers, food delivery people during the pandemic. And I can guarantee you, for the last 12 months, there's been zero positive treatment. I can guarantee you, since Uber and Lyft started, there's been no positive treatment because you just completely disrespect and shove aside that massive, massive group of people, 10 million gig workers in the United States. That's okay. We have $208 million. We'll fight them in California. We'll fight them here. We'll fight them everywhere. We'll light these fires. We'll light these fires. We'll have lawsuits. Uber, you're exhausted, man. Do you realize, Alex Rosenblatt, how many attorneys I called out in one video? Uber and Lyft hires employees in an army, an army of attorneys and lawyers to put out fires. That should tell you something about your culture. All these in-house attorneys putting out fires with gasoline, putting out fire with gasoline. David Bowie, by the way, great song. So Dan says, so very true. Like Q-Boy says, remember that lady, how long did she last? Well, I hope this lady lasts. I really do, right? I hope this lady lasts. I hope that she has some impact, because she certainly got their attention when she wrote this book, Uberland, right? Because she quickly noticed in her interviews that these individuals were being controlled by algorithms. That's why she writes it down here, how algorithms are rewriting the rules of work. She realized that all the individuals in those cars that she interviewed were controlled by robots, by algorithms. There was no human interaction, no. There was no listening to, talking to, no. There were engineers designing apps to control people. Again, let me reiterate this, Alex. There were engineers hired to write apps and algorithms to shut up and control people. Nothing else. There was no listening. There were no bridges. There was no focus on treatment of drivers. Hallelujah. We have a new lady on board. Let's see. Okay, so.
Hey, Rideshare Professor, how are you? Hope you all is well and safe and sound. I haven't seen many of your videos lately. All of a sudden you pop back up in YouTube, so it's good to see your videos again, likewise, to be honest. But what I wanted to say, Rideshare Professor, was this, is that I'm sure you've heard of Lyft supposedly cutting rates by March 29th. And,
cutting rates.
You know, they're worried about not having the amount of drivers and demand and all that stuff, you know. And what they don't understand, Rideshare Professor, is this, that when people file for unemployment, you know, initially when, you know, business started going downhill with rideshare, they started losing their drivers, a lot of people file for unemployment. What they don't realize, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, is
You're
what
right.
they don't realize, Rideshare Professor, is that most people are on delivery apps, you know, like DoorDash and all that stuff, for the people who made food delivery work. I didn't care for it too much. It didn't work for me. There's a couple issues that I had with food delivery, but most of those people Rideshare are on the food delivery app. So that's where most of those people are on, and they kind of don't want to come back to doing the actual driving, even though the only difference between delivery and doing rideshare is people aren't physically in your vehicle, you know, and potentially less miles. And also, when people did file for unemployment, they were able to catch a break and some breathing and mental headroom and all that stuff.
Very true.
To potentially find a better job, you know.
There we go.
So they didn't have to come back to rideshare, because, truth to be honest, there's a lot of people who are not happy with rideshare before the pandemic. And I know there was a lot of people that said they were going to use the unemployment to their advantage and try to find something else. So in my eyes, Rideshare Professor, I just kind of feel like regardless if things came back to normal, businesses and all that, which I don't see it coming back to normal, you know, they're not going to never have the amount of drivers that they had
Amen. Before
the shutdown that occurred last year. So that's what they have to take into account, that a lot of people, again, are on the food delivery apps, Instacart, Amazon Flex, DoorDash, and all the other ones out there.
Correct.
And then you got the people who used their unemployment, paid some bills to play catch up, and said, you know,
correct,
this is not worth it. I'm going to find something better. And they're not coming back regardless. So I don't know. I have no clue. You know, what do you think I'm right
you
or
have
wrong?
A big clue.
You know, but
you're right.
business rideshare, Professor, it's never going to be back to normal. You know, a lot of us are in areas. I do the Philadelphia market. I get up every day at 3 a.m. I drive 45 minutes to Philadelphia, and I cut my app on literally around 4:40 a.m. You know, it's never going to be where I have, you know, my business people, business class people. You know, a lot of us are in areas that are not good, not safe, troubled passengers, false reports still coming in. So I don't ever see any of this going back to normal because, you know, Sally doesn't need to go to all the way to New York City to do a conference call now when they can babysit their kids at home, save money, and do Zoom calls. So a lot of the customers that I had, rideshare, Professor, I'm never going to see again. You know, every now and then you may see a decent trip, but I was never in areas back-to-back consistently that are not good, messed up roads, you know, troubled passengers, no tips, having to be out longer than what I had to, you know, be last year. So, yeah, Uber, Lyft, they don't realize, you know, it's like they lost drivers, but they're not coming back. Some may come back, you know, rideshare, Professor, but never in the amount. So do you think I'm right or wrong?
Do you think I'm right or wrong? Listen, my friend, I could not have said it better. I could not have summed it up better in 4 minutes, right? Because what I realized when I listened to this driver, to this amazing human being, sharing that, hit all the points. And if Alex Rosenblatt listens to his 4 minutes, she can learn so much, right? Pay, tips, treatment, right? This is like gold. You know, do you want this conversation? I will email it to you. Here's my email. I will email you the conversation. These are people that can help your company, right? If you listen to them. You listen to them. You know, like my wife sometimes says, well, you don't always listen to me. Yeah, she's probably right? You could probably listen more to your wife. Maybe they just want to vent or they want to be heard, right? Zakir Khan is in the house. Kenneth H. is in the house. And thank you, Akira. He says, I was a little tired when I made that voice memo today. So we have the gentleman in the house, and I have nothing but gratitude and appreciate the fact that you put it in words so eloquently, so precisely to help a woman like this, Alex Rosenblatt. Alex Rosenblatt should go back, listen, go back, re-listen, and take notes. Right? And then you take those notes, you take Akira's notes, you take my notes, you take Yego Mazarian's notes. You know, I know one thing I know about Yego. Great communicator, great ideas, great suggestions. Well, Alex, just listen to him for a second. Listen to these people, right? Take the notes, walk them into your CEO's office and say, listen, Dara, Mr. K, Mr. Koshashawi, I need 15 minutes of your time. Yes, sure, Alex. Please take a seat. Okay. So this is the conclusion that I've come to, Dara, Mr. K, Mr. Kosh, or Shawi, right? I've gone in these rooms. I've studied the feedback. I've listened to the pissed off drivers. I've taken notes. I've listened to their voice recordings. And you know what they all have in common? We forgot to treat the drivers like drivers. We forgot to treat the drivers like essential drivers. And we're going to start by rewarding them better. Better rewards, better pay, more PPE, more loyalty, less spending on marketing, right? There it is, my friend Diego. Boom! There's my email. Alex can email me. You can email me. Anyone can email me, because the one thing I get such valuable screenshots and feedback from all cities, because I communicate and respect all people. Whether you're in Sydney, Australia, or in Germany or in Holland, people are sending me things. New York is sending me things. Orlando, Florida just sent me a whole bunch of things. Philadelphia has been coming through strong this week, right? And the gentleman, I just want to like congratulate you, right? Am I right in saying these were your earnings in one day, $716, right? With 35 to $40 surges. Well, guess what? It's snowing everywhere. It's iced. Not many people are out. And Uber and Lyft say, well, we got to take care of our clients. Our riders are important. So how do we get the drivers out? We're going to throw them money. So people are actually making some money right now during these horrible Texas storms, Houston storms, Philadelphia storms, where people are making some money because there's a very small percentage of drivers on the road. And many of them have moved on to other jobs. But how does Uber, how does Lyft get these people back? New culture, respect, better earnings, better rewards, a voice at the table, and working with this dynamic lady as the bridge. And Alex, I want to get paid. I'm owed money. Go through my thousands and thousands of referrals. I want to be paid, sweetheart. Otherwise the rideshare professor jabs, clubs, uppercuts, and I cost you so much money. I funnel so many drivers into lawsuits because, yes, I can admit I am so effing pissed at this company, right? But I cannot direct my anger that I have at Uber or Lyft towards drivers. So what I try and do and say, listen, if you're in this game and you've bought a car, let's still find ways to make money. Let's really hustle. Let's really dial into the street and find out what's going on, when and where, so we can still make money. That's why this channel stayed alive, right? Otherwise, I could have just shut down the channel and just concentrated on the courts, which I have people doing anyway, because I pay them to do that, right? But Alex, the people that help build the company, you cannot just pull the carpet under them and say, I'm not going to pay these people. We're going to cut Lyft rates. We're going to cut Uber rates. We're going to get less PPE out there. We don't have to listen to these people. They're an annoyance. They're an annoyance. No, they're not. That's why they hired you. That's why they hired you, because you have some ability to dial in, listen, interview drivers. Congratulations, by the way. Abdul Akbri says, today I start at 9 a.m. Until now, I just made $103. Abdul, I would ask you, what platform, what city? You've been working many hours and you stuck on that $103. So, Alex, reach out to this person, right? You can read and hear the upset. I've worked my butt off since 9 a.m. I've made $103. Lucas, no surge on MA, not allowed by law during pandemic. So when it's snowing, there is no drivers at all. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, Diego's in LA. Exactly. You're welcome, brother. I respect you and I appreciate you, Diego. I love having you in my channel. In a weird way, I can't say this too loud, but this chick looks like one of my ex-girlfriends. Sort of a little bit freaky, but okay, can't say it too loud. Anyway, there it is. Zakir Khan says, I did 1,300 last week because of Daytona and after Super Bowl Orlando. And you deserve that, right? There's a big days, big money makers, and an opportunity on 1 or 2 days to make big money, right? And also understand that there are very few drivers in the mix right now. So the drivers that are out there are actually doing pretty well. But what Uber wants those drivers to come back. Those drivers that have wandered on to other jobs, they want them back. That's why they hire this girl and say, okay, maybe we have a problem. Maybe we have been mistreating drivers. Thank you, Diego. He says, I start at 6 a.m. till 1 p.m. and I made $87.50. So he's in LA. He started at 6 a.m. to 6 to 12 was 6 hours. In 7 hours, he made $87, which means he made, sorry, let me divide 87 by 7. $12 and something per hour, right? Not going to cut it, Alex. It's not going to cut it. Dan the driving man says mass transit drivers get benefits, insurance, vacation pay, etc., while we get shafted. Fight back. So if Alex is listening, which I know she's going to watch this video because her mugshot is on one of the YouTuber and one of the influencers' channels. So she's going to listen to this whole freaking video from start to finish because she's taking notes. I will guarantee you, I will put money on this, that she will reach out. And I'm going to be respectful to her because I see her as the bridge. I see her as the go-to person. If she's not just a show pony and a show hire, I hope she's not a show pony and a show hire. I hope she's the real deal, right? Because she wrote the real book, right? And I hope she has the courage to march into that office and say, hey, Mr. $42 million per annum guy, I need to talk to you, right? IQ Boy says, I don't think I'm going back to driving after 16,000 rides, going to school to get my license for bank loans and notary license. You know, that's fantastic. Or like Dustin. Dustin, you know, is concentrating on his channel. He makes good YouTube money, good sponsorship money. And now what is Dustin be doing so successfully? Investing, stocks, right? People at some point just said, I cannot survive on pennies. I got to look at alternatives, just like IQ Boy starts. So that's another big issue, Alex. That's why you're losing so many people, because you pushed them too far. You pushed them beyond the threshold, beyond the tipping point, beyond the breaking point. You broke a lot of these people's spirits, and they moved on. And they moved on, and they educated themselves elsewhere. They did maybe some evening college degree, online courses, signed up with other companies, Amazon Flex, blah, blah, blah. And now they're like, oh my Lord, we should have listened to the rideshare professor. We should have hired Alex a long time ago. Dan says, I fought taxi driver night for rights for 20 years. Yep, see, and you probably made a massive impact, knowing your personality, knowing your fighting spirit. Diego says $87.50, less gas, less tax, maybe $50 in 7 hours, right? That's less than, that's $7.20 on average per hour, Alex, right? Because Diego had to pay his gas and his taxes and his expenses. After that 87, he's left with 50. In 7 hours, the man has made $7.15 on average per hour. And Alex, if you think that is right, if you think that $7.15 is right, you should resign right now. If you don't think it's right, then take that math, take Diego's math and walk it into Dara's office and say, do you want to know why you hired me? Do you want to know why drivers feel mistreated? Let me use this thing in this channel, this live feed on this specific day as an example, right? Guys, I have 16 likes. I'm sure that out of those 29 people in the room, we're batting here, right? We're batting for all of you, right? Pump it up to at least over 20 likes. Hit, as Dustin would say, smash that like button. Right, Gwen?
Yeah.
Do it again. See, she does it a little bit different. She does it like a cat. Akira says, plus being behind on taxes the past 2 years. So yeah, some people are genuinely playing catch up, right? And Akira says, I need to figure out an exit strategy. I'm going to be 36 years old in March. 12, I'm not getting any younger, which is true, because next year you're 37, and the year after that you're 38, And then in 12 years old, you rideshare professor's age, 50. I wish I was 21. Fact is, I'm 50, right? So you're on that mindset is going to take you two places, right? You're realizing that the money just ain't there, unless they want to change things up, right? Unless they want to change their formulas and start programming the algorithms in the right direction. Yeah. So, hey, Laura, we have a topic here. We have a topic about listening, which I apparently didn't do today because I had the lady vent at me and she said, "You're not listening to me. You're not listening, Torsten." That's why they hired this lady to listen to drivers. So we're going to have to hire some person that needs to consult with me so that she's happy and she feels like I'm listening to her. It's easy as that, right?
You just want to vent.
You just want to vent or I want to vent?
No, people just want to vent.
People want to vent.
Yeah. And
it's true.
Like to a bartender or a
people want to
driver.
Offload, right?
Yeah.
And they want someone to just what? Listen. So I think that the key word here is that probably Laura's a good listener, probably better than Torsten, and that Alex Rosenblatt was hired to listen. Timothy Newell in the house, 111. Is that how much you made today, Timothy? Dan says it costs an average of $15. Oh, Dan, I got some good news today. I was interviewed by Bloomberg News, by one of the editors, and I dropped your name a few times because they were interviewing me about EVs and hybrids, and I spoke about BMW EVs that are coming on the market, so that'll make Laura very happy. And then I said, listen, Dan has the formula down. He's got the formula. I said, look him up on the internet, and I sent him some. So I had a good 40-minute interview with Bloomberg News today. And again, I use these words. They are not listening to us. They are mistreating us. That's the type of stuff that needs to be shared with journalists, with newspapers, with social media, with bloggers. They're not listening to us. Maybe now they will. They have Alex. Diego says, I've been driving from 2017. Diego, can I ask you, since 2017, we're in 2021, how many miles did you put on your car, my brother? Dan says, IQ Boy, great question. So IQ Boy says, I wonder if this chick ever drove before she wrote the book. It's a good question. So Alex, maybe you could come into this room and answer, because we have a legit question posed to you. It says, I wonder if you ever drove before you wrote the book. Was it your experience with rideshare that prompted you to write the book, or did you see an opportunity? Maybe you're a psychologist, maybe you're a writer or a journalist, and you said, wow, this is something that they're not addressing, the treatment of drivers. Maybe Alex has been hopping around on channels just reading our messages. But I ask you here, my friends, all 26 people in the room right now, we have 26 people. I ask you, please put a question forward to this lady. Please tell her what they can do better. Please address her respectfully as Alex Rosenblatt. Uber could do this and this and this. It's why they hired her. So if she's not a show hire, if she's not a show pony, if she's a doer, if she can put things into action, we need to address her in a respectful manner. Like, she's brand new. She's no Dara Khosrowshahi. She's not a person that has been mistreating us like Dara or John Zimmer or Logan Green. So maybe we can address her in a very polite fashion, right? Respect her and say, thank you for taking up this position. Please listen to what I am writing to you today. Boom, boom. A little thing, just a little comment, right? And Alex, come on my freaking show. Do a Zoom call with me, Alex. Please, so we can announce it ahead of time so that people know, look, that we have another great friend and subscriber and person that has great ideas. Payman Ali, she looks like another intellectual who may have some knowledge of the theory, but never operated herself. See, so there's like that. These are valid. Like, well, how much operational value do you bring in? How much practice do you have on the streets, right? It's a valid question. Very, very good point that Payman and other people have brought up. IQ Boy brought up the same question, right? Have you operated yourself? Or what are you basing your skill set on? What tell us why we need to believe in you. Tell us what qualities you have that will change the treatment of drivers for the better. Again, the key words here, for the better. Right? And Payman says just the first impression, and usually what do we say? First impressions count, right? First impression lasts, first impression counts. So Payman here, correct me if I'm wrong, but you going and saying, okay, my first impression is this, right? So maybe Alex can kindly come into the room, go through the messages and say, hey, Payman, I would like to answer your question. I've listened to you. I'd like to answer your question. George Economida says, I believe she will attempt to make positive changes and improvements. However, change is slow in any large organization. I think that's a very, very powerful comment there. I also do believe that she's going to attempt to make positive changes. I do have faith and really believe that she's going to be bringing these ideas to the Uber executives, that we'll discuss it with the investors, right? For one, I've been hammering these executives. I've been hammering them, calling them out, even in the overseas and the Japanese media. I've been calling out the executives here. Maybe someone's listening, maybe they realize people are exiting and leaving, right? I do believe she will make a good attempt to bring in positive changes. As you correctly said, George, it takes some time, but there's things that they can do immediately. We, the executive team at Uber, realize we have not been treating you well during the pandemic. As of today, this is the raise. Until we get out of the pandemic together, and then we can adjust rates. Treat us right now. Treat us the way we should be treated. Treat us the way that Mark Cuban treats his people, right? It's Smooth says, what parameters does she have to work in? Good question. Alex, what parameters do you have to work in, right? Dan says, talking to thousands of drivers across America. Yeah, talking to thousands. I thought you said 2,000. There's more than 2,000, but I know what you're saying. Talking to thousands of drivers across America, right? Take your time to speak to Salt Lake City drivers, Austin drivers, San Antonio drivers, Orlando drivers, Miami drivers, New York drivers, New Jersey drivers, Parsippany drivers, LA drivers, Orange County drivers, Albuquerque drivers. Get into all of those rooms, create a portal and say, hi, I am so-and-so. Here is a portal, leave your top 10, right? Or a pull down bar. Where can we do better? Create a portal, spend some money, go and spend $50,000, $60,000 right now, yesterday, to build a portal where she can interact with you, right? I am a driver, I'm an UberX, I'm in Salt Lake City, I do so many hours. This is what I got to say. Allow the frickin' drivers to vent. Allow the food delivery people to vent. I've got guys and girls, they react to my videos. I give them the chance to vent. I listen, I read their comments, I get back to them at night in form of text, in form of emails. They feel listened to. They feel like I'm offering them a solution. Might not always be the best solution, but I'm offering some sort of feedback. That is your job, sweetheart. That is your job, to set the Titanic on the right course. And Alex, I want to get paid. I'm owed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of outstanding money that your executive Dara just decided to chop off. Just as I have friends in the 415 San Francisco owed over $1 million. Harry's owed money. Dustin's owed money. All of these people broke their backs for your company, and you just turned around and stabbed them in the back. And you wonder why people are pissed off. William Willard says, treatment of drivers is just one thing, and one thing only, proper compensation for the rides we do. Uber makes not a nickel without the driver and his car. It is in this that Uber makes billions. Sir, I could not thank you enough for nailing it. Nailing it. Just listen to what he said there, Alex. Listen to what William Willard put forth. Valuable, valuable, valuable advice. His car, our car, is what makes you the billions. So for crying out loud, treat these people with respect. Pay them properly. Don't leave them hanging with repair costs, with these costs, with that. No, don't just throw them out on the street. Don't have them living in their cars, because you squeeze them and you squeeze them and you see how much water can we get out of that stone. That is the wrong type of treatment. The wrong type of treatment. So focus on the treatment of drivers. Focus on the Dandans, the Williams, the IQ boys. Eos De Silva says, I work 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. I can't make more than 120 a day. So my advice, Louis De Silva, that hurts me to read, that you're breaking your back, right? Alex Rosenblatt, just read this. I work 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. I can't make more than 120 a day. Well, Louis, you either leave Uber, because this is the way they're treating you, Louis. You go and find something else with Amazon Flex, right? So you can use your car and make money, Louis, right? Or they pay you more, and maybe you'll stay with them, or maybe you'll think of starting your own company, your own limousine company. And this touches my heart, so I'll give you a free code to my course, ridesharedrivingschool.com. You have my emails in there, hit me up, I'll give you a free code, right? And go out and whatever you've learned in the game, maybe it means changing a vehicle, maybe it means changing from X to XL, or getting yourself a cheap SUV and starting your own company. But you deserve so much more, Louis, right? And Alex, connect with Louis, please. Louis De Silva. Are you from Brazil? Louis De Silva is a Portuguese last name. Tony Slaughter says, squeeze our balls to birth their greed. Okay, Alex, listen to Tony. They're squeezing our balls to birth their greed. Doesn't that tell you a lot? So my feeling is my balls are being squeezed to birth your greed. Very well said, Tony. Zakia Khan says, hope it's just not a hire scam to make drivers just feel better. Correct. So Zakia, addressing what Zakia says, I hope it's not a hire scam to make drivers feel better. No. You know what, Zakia? Alex Rosenblatt has to prove herself to us, right? She has to prove her worthiness, her role to us. She has to prove that she is not a show hire. She has to prove to Zakia, to me, to everyone else, that she is not just a show pony or a show hire, right? Now, love or hate me for this, but my other rideshare channel, I'm turning into a political channel. And I'm not turning it into a political channel because the Rideshare Hub got 350,000 subscribers. This is something that I've enjoyed since a 13-year-old politics, because my father was, he died very young. But my father was a political advisor to Gorbachev, to Reagan, to German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, to South African President Nelson Mandela. And I grew up around all of these political people, not even knowing who they were or are when I was in my teens. So I love politics. And I just want to bring a channel which I called 6 Feet Apart. That channel is being renamed 6 Feet Apart. And it's just all about facts. And it's also all about bringing Republicans and Democrats together again, right? So by talking about real issues, dangerous issues, sensitive issues, but using the art of dialogue, using the art of diplomacy to bring Republicans and Democrats together again, because I think we did so much damage in 4 years, and we have I want to do repair work. I really want to do a ton of repair work in that channel. I do have a psychology degree as well as a business degree, right? So I do want to use a skill set that I really enjoy, which is listening and working with people, right? I do want to turn that channel into something positive. Yes, I will always be edgy. Yes, I will always be that loud-mouthed YouTube guy who's very, very black or white. That's just in my DNA. I cannot change that. But I also want to listen to people and bring people together, right? Just like we're trying to have a really good, I think, Alex, if you've listened to this last hour, I'm sure you would agree with us that God bless his soul. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I think one thing you've learned from this conversation, Alex, and I know she's going to watch it because her pretty face is on this frickin' video screen right now, is that she's going to read these comments and she's going to read further comments that come in. Dan says, as a driver, I sometimes worked 5 hours just to pay taxi rental and gas. Sometimes I needed to make 120 a day just to begin making money for myself. Unreal. Just think about that you have that pressure on your back. I got to make $120 per day before I actually put $1 in my pocket. So I got to drive. Whoa, look who's in the house. Alex Rosenblatt, you got another legend in the house. Dustin, welcome. Dustin is driving. He says, I just saw this today. Also, I thought it was kind of funny. It is kind of funny, but let's hope, Dustin, she's not a show horse. Let's hope she's not a show hire or a show pony. And Alex, meet Dustin. Dustin, meet Alex. Dustin, can you commit to having Alex on your show and discussing this topic? She was hired, right? She was hired as a prominent critic. She critiqued them like we do, right? To focus on the treatment of drivers. Is that something Dustin would facilitate in his channel Life? I know Dustin will do that. I know Dustin will have great questions. He'll be funny. He'll be accommodating. He'll be respectful towards this lady. So Alex, probably one of the hottest channels you could get on is Dustin is driving right there, right? William, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. High five, great success. Borat, high five, very nice, great success. Dustin says, hi, everyone. Dustin, your initial reaction when you read this, they're hiring a permanent a person to focus on the treatment of drivers. What was your initial reaction? He said he thought it was kind of funny. And when you usually use those words, kind of funny, is maybe is this serious? Can I take these people serious? Is she going to be serious? Is she going to step into her role and actually focus on the treatment of drivers? Or is she just a title and a press release? Is she just like a one-time album, one-time great song? There's many one-hit wonders. Is she a one-hit wonder, right? Or will she actually go in and say, Dara, we need to talk. Wake up. I have some good things here I need to present, right? Akira says, I would love to have a Zoom call with her. Well, Alex, you have just been invited to have a one-on-one Zoom call with Akira. I am sure if you had listened to his 4-minute conversation, his 4-minute of input, you could get a 20 minutes of wealth out of one individual. Dustin says, yeah, the hired a critique that has no actual clue. She wrote a book but never drove a rider before or did the bar crawl weekend. Okay. So Alex, listen to this, right? This really boils down to respect. How will drivers, how would Dustin respect you? How would I respect you? If you would maybe get into a car, okay, Dustin says you wrote a book, cool, we plugged your book, right? Harry also wrote a phenomenal book, but the difference between Harry and Alex is probably Harry put in a couple of thousands of trips, right? So maybe to get some respect, go and get the app, go drive around San Francisco, pick up a few UberX passengers, a couple of XL, a couple of SUV, fly over to New York, do the same, fly down to Miami, fly to LA, and maybe do 20, 30, 40, 50 passengers and come back and say, wow, Uberland 2. I actually worked. Uberland DOS, right? Scott Tucker is in the house. Driver Steve is in the house. So very good point, right? How can you offer critique? How can you take up this position if you have not done the bar crawl weekend, that 1 a.m., 2 a.m. crowd, that drunken crowd that gives you so much crap in your car? Has Alex driven those type of people? Probably not. Would we respect her more if she would do a 1 a.m. Saturday night run? Yes, we would, right? And Tony says she's cute. I would agree with Tony. She is cute. She's got a pretty awesome smile. Scott Tucker says, was she hired by Uber? If she was, she's just a name and title. So many people see you as a name and title, Alex. Prove them wrong. Many see you as a show hire, a name and a title, right? You now get to prove all of these individuals wrong by coming on my show. And I'm not going to be mean to you. I'm going to ask some tough questions, yes, right? But or even, hey, you write up the questions. I invite you. You write up the questions, and I will stick to the script. I will ask you the questions that you want to be asked, and then, with permission, I'd like to ask you one or two of Rideshare Professor's questions, right? Dan says, hire Dan, the driving man, won't take a paycheck till they understand, listen, do it right, or make the necessary changes for the greater good. I was born to drive, born to be alive, born to drive. Dustin is driving, says Driver Steve. Exactly. So Driver Steve says driving employees around the corner doesn't count. Dara, are you listening? Driving an employee around the corner doesn't count, right? No. Driver Steve is right. Dustin nailed it. You got to get in the car and you got to do the bar, like Dustin says, the bar brawl crowd, right? The vomiters, the crazies, the shouters, the screamers, the drunken, the tequila fighters, whoever they are. Those are the people that you have to drive, and then you will respect everything that you're reading right here. It's Moose says, she is probably all hat and no cattle. Nah, I think I have faith. Listen, I look at the executives. I know all those executives by name, inside out. I know all the attorneys. This is a title now. I'm having some faith in this woman. She wrote this book to critique them. They said, listen, she's exposed a lot of our shenanigans, a lot of our algorithms. Maybe it's good to hire her. Maybe this is the woman that can maybe she is. We got to at least give her the chance. Don't you agree? We got to give her the chance to prove herself. We can't just put a label on her back. Driving us into poverty. And now she's going to have to show us how to drive us out of poverty. So if you got to ask, you don't know. Love that. Love that title. It says, if you got to ask, you don't know. Dara had 10-2 and scared. 10-2 and got scared. Absolutely, man. He just like, Dara looks like a scared deer in the headlights, doesn't he? He just does not like to be around people. What does he do with his lady in the room at night? I mean, does something actually happen there, or is it just like all robotic? Just a question, Dara. You want to share what happens at your house, right? But you seem like the introvert, right? You seem like the person that does not like to confront people or deal with people. You seem rather like scared. Maybe she has a nice, bubbly, outgoing personality. Maybe she's a connector. Maybe she's a networker. Maybe she's a creator. Maybe she's a doer. Maybe she's a facilitator. Maybe she's a listener. Got to give her a chance. William Willett says, Dara and the rest of the Uber cronies are see driving as being beneath them. Mm-hmm. They are laughing all the way to the bank. So that degree of arrogance. So Alex, read that, right? So the perception that William has is that we are looked down at. And William, that goes back to respect, right? You're frowned on. Oh, your peasants shall do the work for me. I, the king of the castle, demand that you go out today at 3 a.m. and drive around and pick up drivers and deliver food for my company, for I am the king and I have spoken to my peasants. Right? So Alex, listen, connect, listen, connect, listen, connect, listen. Right. So I have a private client. I was at an event early on today. I dropped off, and who did I see there? Mark Wahlberg. Just like, doesn't know me. I say, hey, Mark, hey, buddy. Wave back, didn't know who I had. Probably thought it was somebody from the party. I drove into this massive, crazy house in Malibu, just past Zuma Lake. I mean, massive. Driveway all the way down to the beach and then out again. And they had like 3 or 4 tennis courts just packed with Rolls Royces, Lamborghini Urus, Porsches, all the who's who, all the actors were there. It was like a private thing. Everyone was wearing the mask. Security checked you and security checked under your car, like high level security. So definitely a lot of prominent people there. I drove down, dropped off this beautiful lady, and I'm going to go back at 8 o'clock to go and pick her up again. Rideshare. Otter is in the house. Says, I think after Proposition 22 and the lobbyists that the rideshare companies have been hiring speaks volumes. I think hiring her is just them asking forgiveness, but knowingly screwing us drivers. Powerful, powerful statement. And I would like to have a reaction from Alex Rosenblatt. And by the way, the name Rosenblatt is German. It's pronounced Rosenblatt, which means the rose petal in German. So we will see, let's address her as the rose petal. Maybe she brings a whole new beautiful scent and dynamic to Uber, right? Dan says, get them, Professor. Whoop, whoop. Big dog, big dog. Yeah, it's going to be fun there. I'm going to look. Hey, Mark, you need a private driver? CEO Boardhouse, who cracked the party? You rock the party. I'm going to go rock the party, Dan, and I wish you were with me. We should go in there with a couple of bottles of tequila and say, shots. No, we're going to mix it up. Timothy, I do want to give my buddy, I was with him yesterday. We're going to do a photo shoot together with my with my Chevy. But to my dear friend, also party friend, happy birthday, Taylor Hawkins. Made this little thing, send it on over. And what did I write to Taylor? I said, what did I write to the guy? Been spending quite a bit of time with the Foo Fighters. I said, happy birthday, champ. Let the good times rock and roll. And I put a lot of emojis of champagne and glasses. So Taylor, if you're watching, happy birthday, my brother. Many good parties and trips ahead. Akira says she needs to be willing to listen. The key word of today. Let me write it down. Listen. Listen, listen, and listen more. Right? Don't you agree? I'm confident. I'm just saying this. I'm getting a good vibe here from this lady. I'm confident that she wrote this book and interviewed all of these individuals for this book, that she listened, she asked, she listened. That's what she needs to do. She needs to come onto this show and ask questions to the gig workers. Give us enough time to announce this live feed so I can say, you know what, Alex Rosenblatt, it's wonderful to have you on my show. You know, Dara, obviously, and the rest of you guys probably don't think very highly of me. Your attorneys hate me, but I am going to treat you respectfully today. Today, I want you to listen to the drivers, to the gig workers. I want them to ask tough questions. If you can answer, and let's make this a very, very, no trolling, no hatred, no swearing, just really solid, good questions. You today on my show, you have the ability to win some respect back by focusing on the correct and positive treatment of drivers. That's it. Isn't that fair? Isn't that a cool invite, right? Scott Tucker says, when is the caravan happening? Good question. So the caravan for the co-op was scheduled for the end of February. The Toronto crowd, they're organizing that. They said they're going to be moving that to the 2nd to 3rd week of March. So I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet and announce the dates. Out of respect, I'm waiting for the president of the co-op in Toronto to let me know, and then we're going to organize those 4 caravans. So they are definitely, let me just look at his last message that I received from him. There it is. He said, Torsten, actually, I was aiming for the 15th of March. Just wanted to add some additions, some more people. The best, I need to know the best LA routes, the best San Francisco routes, the best New York routes, the best Toronto routes, and then we will announce the dates. So there it is. That's the conversation you can see. I'm not going to show you his number, but it looks like mid-March. Tony Slaughter says, it's her for live stream. Scott Tucker, okay, I will be there. Rena G says, is any Lyft office here in California? Is any open? Does anybody have any feedback for Rena as far as an open Lyft office? Please let them know. Akira says she can't be willing to hear one story and walk away like she knows the entire story. She really needs true feedback. Feedback, not from one driver, but from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drivers in hundreds and hundreds of different cities, on different platforms, right? Different age groups, different nationalities, different religions, different colors. She needs to interview, my gosh, maybe 1,000 people. She, according to people in the room, it would be good if she would just go jump out there and do some real driving. Like Dustin says, she's got to do the pub brawl tour, right, on a Saturday night, and then she gets our respect, right? So this is how you get our respect, Alex. Not fighting you, we're giving you really, really good suggestions here. Rena G says, I just came from New York to San Francisco. Welcome in California. Hopefully you settle in. Hopefully you're enjoying the weather. Got 70s coming up on the weekend. Timothy Graffis says, what caravan? We are organizing the co-op caravan and the coordination of all the executives of the co-op and people that consult for the co-op are going to be meeting with media people. So it's going to be a combination of, well, let's just look at the, I'll give you all the details, right? But and these are some of the speakers, some really interesting speakers in there. But I'm going to give you all the details when I've nailed down it. It's going to be a separate video. And man, it would be wonderful if people could join our caravan, because that's going to be a big signal to Uber and Lyft. We're coming. We're coming. Go Donnie. Go Donnie. Go Donnie. Godani says, man, come on, man. I guess we all start selling T-shirts. Come on, man. That's it. So I'm happy to hear that Godani is making good money on the T-shirt side. Driver Steve says, I don't know if it's still open, but there was one opened in San Jose area about 5 months ago when I visited. Of course, things change all the time. So Rena, you might want to research San Jose Lyft Hub. Apparently 5 months ago it was open. IQ Boy says, one thing for sure, she might be out of touch the last 2 years because the book is 2018. Right. So she published this book in 2018. Very valid comment, right? This was way back then. And so Alex Rosenblatt explained to us, what did you do between 2018 and 2021 that you can say, okay, I could take on this position? I mean, did you keep up to speed with Uber and the gig economy in these last 2.5 years? Very good question, IQ Boy. So hopefully she will answer that. And I think if we do get her on the show, that would be a great question to pose to her. Godonicom says, always got a plan B. Good stuff. I know Godoni has got a plan A, plan B, plan C, and plan D. It's a hard worker, hustling $1,500 a week on the rideshare platforms. He's doing his DJing. He's a phenomenal DJ. Love his 80s music, love his 90s music. And on top of it, he's selling t-shirts. So true definition of a hustler, a positive hustler. Good question. Maybe she can share that with us. It's Moose. It's Moose says, I wonder how much she is being paid. And I would ask you, if you took on that position, what would you demand? Right? I'm guessing $250,000. I'm guessing $250,000, $300,000. Dan says, I had a powerful man here in St. Louis tell me to my face, drivers were made to be seen, not heard from. Oh yeah? Back at you, right? Drivers were made to be seen, not heard from. Doesn't work that way. And I'm sure Dan put him in place. Godoni says, world has changed so much. Drive today, tell stories tomorrow. All markets are different. This market is on fire. Hot, hot, hot. Sure is. Jason Anderson, would you encourage people who want to move to California to drive Uber and Lyft to still do it in spite of the high taxes if they are a go-getter, 5-star driver and want to get their TCP? So it's a brilliant question, Jason. Firstly, if you do come to California, I would target LA in the cheaper areas, let's say San Fernando Valley. You could always get yourself a cheap studio in San Fernando Valley, and you could be driving in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive or in Hollywood Hills, right, making money, right? But you just gave the key word there. That this is about if you want to come down and work in LA or in California. Obviously, San Francisco has insane rental prices, right? Insane rents. So you'd have to live on the outskirts or then drive into San Francisco daily. If you're in LA, you'd maybe get yourself a place in Winnetka, Tarzana, Reseda in the valley, and you'd hustle with your Suburban or your Excel or your SUV. You'd be on the Uber platform, Lyft platform, and then, as you already said, the keyword TCP. And if there's any place to network passengers, the easiest place on earth, I think, to network, because the people are all so open and just want to talk. It's Los Angeles, Blink 182, Los Angeles, right? So yeah, that would be my answer to you, the long, short, and sweet. Is it doable? Can you make money? Yes. UberX wouldn't even waste my time. Wouldn't even waste my time in LA. Akira says, I spoke to Uber Black driver, a friend of mine. They really don't get no business. They just do comfort rides. Yeah. So those guys are using, when they were making bank on the SUV and Black, now they're driving Comfort and XL, but they're making money. They're very, very, very busy. Ask Paul Figueroa, ask Thomas Gibson. They'll tell you all about it. Now, we're 29 people. We were just 30 people in the house right now, in the room. We have 27. If we can kindly shoot it up to 30, I would be very, very grateful. We're on 28. Thank you so much. Somebody just gave me a like. If we can get 2, dos, por favor, 2 bitte, 2 s'il vous plaît, 3 alsjeblieft. Thank you. We're on 33. You guys rock. You made my day. Not only did you bring me to 30, but you brought me to the 3-3. I appreciate you guys. So I think this was great. I'm going to stop on the 123 mark. Need to get something to eat, something to drink. I had a fantastic time. It was honestly one of the funnest and most exciting live streams that I did. Why? Why do you think I'm so excited, like a little 5-year-old child? Because I feel like I've been given a treat. I feel like I've been given a present. I do see her as a gift to drivers. Now it's really about Alex, right? It's about what Alex does. It's about what Alex brings to fruition, right? Is she a doer? Or is she just a title that they bought? I believe she's more than a show pony and a show hire. I believe she's more than a press release. I believe this young lady is the real deal. I have a good feeling about this. I have a very good feeling about the fact that she'll come onto my show. I'll be respectful. I won't be the brawler, rugby slapper type of guy. I'll be extremely respectful to you, Alex, if you do come onto our show. But I do ask you to be able to answer our people, the folk on the street. Godoni.com says, be a professional driver, then you start your own business. As a professional driver, then you win away. Win, win, win. The best drivers are rise to the top. I can get hold of tech support 24 hours a day. Love that. Love that feedback. It's Moose. Knows what time it is. It's time to light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up. Thank you, Dan. I love you, my brother. He says, thanks. We are the voice. We are a collective voice. And I know she's going to listen to us. I know now we have a bridge. We have a human bridge. We have a bridge to Dara, because Dara is sitting in his office collecting the money. Show me the money, honey, investor. Hey, Japanese investor. Hey, Saudi Arabian investor. Hey. This chick is the real thing. She's the bridge. Right? Scott Tucker says, have a good night. From Manchester, awesome driver, Steve. Have a good one, my friend. And the wear and tear on your vehicle with all the steep hills. That's true. A lot of steep hills there. Timothy Graffis says 33 is a really windy road. It is it? Well, I haven't been on the 33, but I trust you on that one. I know the 38, which goes around the back way to Big Bear, and that is a windy. Stephen Moten, you continue to preach to do right by the driver gospel. Keep up the good work. Stephen, I love you, my friend. We're going to do this together. We're going to keep on preaching. We're going to keep on fighting. We're going to keep on being the voice. And I really want to work with this girl, because like this is what I've been hoping for a long, long time. And maybe finally, they've seen the light, right? Maybe they've seen the light. Maybe the bright light. Maybe they've seen the light. The light. Maybe they have, folks. Maybe they've seen the light. This is amazing. All right, a big round of applause to you all. Rena says, so is LA better than San Francisco? I would say from a cost of living and building out your private clientele, I would argue that LA is the better city. It's the entertainment capital of the world, right? San Francisco is a beautiful city and it pays very well. But to be a private driver, LA, baby. And you get to meet me one-on-one and I'll download you in all the hottest spots. Driver Steve says, Rush died today, rest in peace. But in a way, RP is much like him as being the voice for us drivers. Thank you. Yeah. And may he rest in peace. I mean, he was battling cancer. He was very, very ill. And I hope the angels will take care of him. You know, my heart goes out. It's always when you leave loved ones, a wife or family or kids behind, it's hard for them. So no matter whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, right? Got to start working together, folks. Thank you again. And Scott Tucker says, if she is the bridge, she needs to be paid $1 million a year because she is going to hear the wrath of all the drivers. And maybe she does approach Dara and say, listen, the $250,000 is not enough. I am just being bombarded and attacked by drivers because you created so much damage and so much mistreatment. You owe me more. Go, Donnie. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Come on, man. Moment. Uber TV Landy. TV Landy. Go, Donnie. You got to open up another. You need to open up like a DJ channel, dude. I mean, you got it. You got to just do a T-shirt and DJ channel, man. All your retro outfits, those oldies. Let me know how I can support you, right? And thank you. Thank you for the 1999 Prince and the Revolution, 1999. Akira, and you know that song, 1999, right? Prince. Akira says, how about live support, not that stupid robotic texting? Right, and that's the thing that we need to discuss with Alex. Your call center, your customer service drives us crazy. We want to pull our hair out. I don't have much hair, but we just want to tear our hair out when we're dealing, right, Big suggestion, Alex, bring the call center, bring the help center to the United States, create jobs on our soil. You don't have to go to the most expensive state in California to open up your call center. Maybe you take it to Ohio, maybe you take it to Oklahoma, maybe you take it to Texas. But for crying out loud, have people who understand people. Donnie knows this song. People are people, so why should it be you and I get a little? We need the people here. We don't need the call center in the Philippines where they do not understand us, where we have that language barrier, we have the culture barrier, and we get just more angry and more frustrated because it's really not a help or call center. So Alex, please push and push and push for a help center in the great US of A, United States of America, right? Don't ship those jobs out overseas to people that just do not know how to listen to us, do not know how to hear us, do not know how to take our frustrations or problems and fix them, rectify them, repair them, right? People on the ground, boots on the ground in Texas, boots on the ground in Ohio, boots on the ground in Oklahoma City. Build a call center right here in the US of A. Alex, push for that. So there we go. Driver Steve says Oklahoma is call center central, right? I mean, they're pretty damn sure that those 1-800-593-7069 numbers go over to the Philippines or to Bogota in Colombia, depending on what time of the day is. Timothy said, Ahmed, he says, what class do you think a Tesla truck will be? Woo. I hope they put the Tesla truck, it's not going to be put in SUV. I hope that they put it in XL at least. I really do. I really do. I'm supposed to be getting mine end of 2021. One of the first people to put the deposit down. So, Akira, and how about a counseling service for the drivers? Well, I love that idea. How about a counseling service, Alex? Damn, Akira is giving you like $1 million ideas here. Pay him. Pay him. It's Moose. Those call centers are not allowed to do that much. Goes back to what type of parameters and authority they have. Right. Okay. But they should be able to do more. They should be able to understand your complex or easy question. Right. They should be able to help you. That's what a call center, a help center should do. I don't feel like I've been properly listened to very often when I've called at 1-800-593-7069, right? No disrespect to Philippines people, but you're not on the ground. You're not driving. If you're not driving, how do you understand us? We need people here on the ground. If you're doing a USA call center, have a couple of drivers with experience that have done X, that have done XL, that have done Comfort, that have done SUV, that have done Black, have them in the call center as maybe managers that are then overseeing other people and training them up how to communicate properly, how to teach them the street language, teach them the rideshare language. Thank you, it's Moose. I got a little bit passionate, a little bit animated today, but I guess I'm just happy, man. Guess I'm really, really just happy. Happy. Now, funny little story here. You know, me, I sort of talk to everyone, approach everyone, business cards, definitely networking. Picked up like 3 new clients this week in 1 week, right? So made buddies with one of the neighbors who happens to be a big hotshot at one of these COVID companies. And the next thing he says, listen, Torsten, you have 5 kids, right? And I said, yeah. He says, well, do you want to give them a little bit of a job? We have these test tubes. We have test tubes, and then we need to label them with the antigen and the PCRs, right? Can I give you like 10,000 test tubes? And I'll pay your kids $50 a box. Sure. When do you need it done by? Tomorrow. Are you kidding me? Tomorrow you want us to do this in 24 hours? I said, okay, well, let's see how much we can do. So in that evening, he calls back and he says, listen, I don't need 10,000, I need 8,000. So I said, I think we can do it. So my kids probably each made about $100, close on to $100 in that 24-hour period. Putting caps on test tubes, putting these little stickers here, right? These antigen stickers, whatever you want to call them. And these were all for 8,000 pro college sports players, basketball, maybe future NFLers, swimmers, volleyball players. So we had till 5:30 p.m. the following day. He calls me up and he says, do you think you can get it done by 2:30 because FedEx is going to pick up earlier? We got him the 8,000, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, I was also stickering and helping my kids. We got him the 8,000 in 24 hours. Got all those COVID tests ready for them. And they paid us nicely. I told the kids, listen, you've learned a valuable lesson. You've learned to work under stress. You've learned to keep a deadline. You got a job for 24 hours, which I know is going to set you up for other jobs because the guy is now already talking. Maybe he's going to drop off a few thousand every week for us. So, if the kids can each make another $200 per month, 5 kids, good for them. $200, 12 months later, they've each made $2,400 times 5 kids. They've made $12,000. Not bad, right? It's easy work. It's not difficult work. So it was a great, great little lesson for the kids. And it was a lot of fun for me to coordinate. How did it come about? It came about through a conversation. Networking, introducing yourself. Here's my card, blah, blah, being nice, listening, being nice, listening, being nice. Oh, you need that. Okay, good. Let me tell you, I have 5 kids. Maybe I can help you out. Listening, comparing, boom. Little project happened. Good night, you all. Thank you. Thank you for an amazing 1 hour and 36 minutes. I had a lot of fun. So let's just light it up. Let's get a lot of color, and then I'm going to take a picture. Let's show Alex who we are. Just light it up. Hearts, emojis, thumbs up. You know how to light it up. Light it up. And I'm going to take a picture. Thank you. It's Moose, knows exactly what I'm talking about. Just light it up like crazy because I'm going to set the frequency for her new job. I'm going to show Alex who we are. We're positive, upbeat people that need to be treated better. Just light up the room with a ton of emojis, everyone. Smileys, whatever it is. Timothy's got an upside down. Put 20 of those out there. Just light up that whole. I want to see the whole screen, top to bottom, just in color. Rainbows, frickin' everything. Light it up. And I'll show you what an Our House Monday usually looks like if you want to see, right? You guys want to see what these things usually look like, I'll show you. They look like this, Alex. That's when I say light it up. There we go. It's Moose is on fire. There we go. Now we're talking. We're going to take a picture for Alex, as a little gift to you, this is who we are. There it is. You can see that's who we are. A lot of upbeat people ready to work with you. God bless you all. Thank you so, so much. Have an amazing night. Be safe out there and make some money. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Have a good one.